This chick came into my work the other night, and she said, "Do you guys have Snickers bars?"
We are the people of Mercury. I am your interplanetary host, Travis Montgomery. These views reflect one planet and one planet alone.
Hello, this is Mercury's Cast. This is Carl speaking. We've got Travis on. Long time no see, Travis. Today's agenda is pretty open. We're doing tech talk as usual. It's going to be a bit of a freebie episode. We had some other stuff planned, but things change. Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. I think that's a bit wrong itself. I think anything that can't go wrong will also go wrong. Anyways, I think Travis is going to get us started on Tech Talk.
Welcome. Thank you, Carl, for that great introduction. Wow, no one does it quite like Carl. Graphene would be the topic of tonight's Tech Talk, which is this super complicated. It's a super complex type of molecule. It's a new substance that we have created. Actually, it's not in the table of elements. Is that right, Carl?
Kinda. If you want to make some graphene at home, go ahead and get yourself some graphite. So a pencil will do. And then go ahead and break it down into just a really, really small powder. It shows itself as an extremely capable capacitor. The material has a lot of capacitive qualities about it. Years ago, I think around 2012, they were discussing graphene a little bit more than they are now. That's when it really started to take off. So the first test
conducts electricity or energy, or is that the same thing, in your opinion?
It conducts electricity. As far as energy is concerned, it's not exactly a very capable insulator. Or it is a pretty capable insulator. Rather, it's better than.
Wait, it can't be both, right?
It's good with electrical. It's good with electrical capacitance, but it isn't particularly great as far as retaining energy, light energy. So no, I wouldn't say it's perfect for all energy, but it's pretty good with electricity. I think it's things that makes it cool is its ability to its capacitance is partially due to the fact that it doesn't necessarily overheat when loaded up with a lot of electricity.
Ooh.
Loaded with electricity very quickly. I think one of the first tests that were done on graphene, they microwaved it, and it pretty much instantly charged it.
Well, I mean, what other better experiment than to just throw something in the microwave? Isn't that what most Americans do anyways?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and plug a long dead YouTube channel just for our viewership. There was an old show on YouTube that I really used to like called "Is It a Good Idea to Microwave This?" And what they did on the show was they threw things in microwaves and saw if it was a good idea to microwave them. Pretty rudimentary. Yep, great show. I'd suggest all of our viewers watch it.
Did they do tinfoil? Because that is like.
Yeah, they did.
Will spark,
they did CDs. They did
will
CDs.
Will it really blow up your whole house?
They microwaved a microwave.
Whoa.
Yeah. Microception. They've microwaved all sorts of bad idea things. Like they microwaved an airbag. That did not go well. No, microwaving tinfoil won't necessarily catch your house on fire, but it's still not a good idea.
Well, why is it not a good idea? Say I come home from happy hour and I forget about something that's on my counter. It's in the tinfoil. Hey, fuck it. I'm not going to put it on a plate. I just want to throw it in there. Why is that a bad idea?
It'll arc. Anyone with any experience with welding knows that it's probably not a good idea to have arcs going on in your kitchen. I take that back. I'm sure there are some welders who love to have arcs going in their kitchen. Never mind. I'm going to drink some green drink.
Drink some grains for us. How's that going down?
It's delicious.
So are you on a little health kick here, or?
No, that is actually natural, grass-fed organic Hawaiian punch.
Oh. And did you make that yourself? It sounds like it.
Actually, my understanding of economics comes down to it just kind of appears in the grocery store. So I bought it from the magical grocer fairies. So anyways, let's get back to graphene. It's a semiconductor. And I'm going to go ahead for the definition here. Graphene is a zero-gap semiconductor because its conduction and valence bands meet at Dirac points. The Dirac points are 6 locations in the momentum space on the edge of the Brillouin zone, or the Brillouin zone. Not sure how to pronounce that one. Divided into 2 non-equivalent sets of 3 points. The 2 sets are labeled K and K1. These sets give graphene a valley GV equals 2. By contrast, for traditional semiconductors, the primary point of interest is generally that symbol, where momentum is 0. 4 electronic properties separate it from condensed matter systems. However, if the in-plane direction is confined, in which case it is referred to as a nanoribbon, its electronic structure is different. If it's zigzag, the band gap is 0. If it is armchair, the band gap is non-zero. See figure. That was all Chinese to me.
So what can we use this thing? Let's break it down to practical matters. I heard that this could be like a shield and a conductor in the same time, and also be shielded against other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the direction in which it's weaved, so to say. At least my understanding of it is that it's kind of like fiberglass, or sorry, fiber optics for electricity. Okay. It'll go through it one way, but not against the grain. But not in a physical sense. Well, yes. Okay.
Well, ultimately, what could something like this, how could it change our technological world?
Faster charging batteries is about the simplest thing I can think of.
Right. Isn't it a weird dynamic when people think about, green, being a green thinking and moving away from fossil fuels and moving toward these?
Here's some things here's some areas where it could be applied. Solar cells, LEDs, touch panels, and smart windows or phones. Wearable devices, anything lightweight. 15, a graphene-infused printer powder was created.
So I'm sorry, I know that this was our tech talk, and I just did a couple brief observations on it. So, but like in the battery world, it's not going to be a capacitor in the sense that it's going to store electricity. It's going to be able to conduct it more safely
and more efficiently.
More efficiently with a stronger infrastructure, I guess you would say.
It's not, graphene wouldn't, in that application, wouldn't be as weak as gold, which is the current conductor used in most phones.
Right, because it
could also be used. It could also be used in the motor world for like lubricants, oils, anything where you want to prevent friction.
Okay.
Any locksmiths out there would know that you use graphite in lock cylinders to keep things all lubed up and clean. Which is also why your keys will get anything they touch dirty after a while. Things that has been made is they made a paint or a film that you can put on cars that absorbs 95% of the light on it. So talk about a blackout car. I think that'd be pretty dope.
What does it mean when it is absorbing 95% of the light?
It means it's not reflecting light. So when you look at it, it looks as though it's like a black hole in front of you. Like imagine, you've seen matte black car, like paint jobs on cars, right? And you see how the light plays off of it and you can see the shape of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Couldn't see any of the light reflecting off of it. So it was just a black blob.
Huh.
Like they could use that on the, you know how they sometimes drive around cars before they're in full production and they paint them.
Yeah, they're like in some like kind of bag or whatever that they're in.
They do the old razzle dazzle warship paint job on them in such a way that you can't really make out the features of the vehicle. They could do that, but do it with this stuff and it would just be an all black vehicle and you couldn't really see any of the features. Well, it's pretty cool and it's good for stealth stuff. If we painted our warships in this shit, you could not see them at night.
Huh.
If anything, you could see them because they're darker than the water around them.
Or if you're transporting, some stuff that's deemed illegal, that might be a good...
Yeah. They could try and shine a spotlight on you and they'd just see the reflection of the water around you, but not you.
Huh. Hey, well, I need to talk with you about a business plan later. Just kidding. So graphene.
It's a cool compound at the very least. There's a lot of applications that it can be used for. Is it going to be like groundbreaking? Maybe. I'm inclined to think that since we've had it as long as we've had this shit for a long time. It's just now getting the research it deserves.
Right. And I heard Kevin Smith talking about it as to do with solar power somehow. And I'm not sure how it exactly ties in, but I know that some of the
efficiency. It's all about efficiency.
With solar batteries technology or stuff like that. Not batteries, they don't call them batteries, but with the graphene. It's either that or saltwater taffy, which a lot of people aren't talking about. I think we lost Alexander for the time.
I had a little hiccup there with my...
Okay.
So I didn't hear anything you just said.
Well, I was just saying that saltwater taffy is probably an untapped resource that, could be just as effective as graphene. But,
that seems pretty legit.
If you look into it, I'm just kidding. Oh my God. I just have to comment on it. The last Joe Rogan podcast with Eddie Bravo, he kept saying, if you look into it, and he was arguing that NASA has never really been to the moon, never really taken pictures of the Earth. The Earth is flat. A bunch of crazy stuff, and it's like, I just can't help but to say, hashtag, if you look into it.
I like the accentuation of your consonants there. If you look into it.
Yeah, most people accentuate the Vowels. Not me.
So you're doing the consonants. So
Yeah, I was a big Wheel of Fortune fan growing up. So
the Wheel
there you go.
of Fortune.
And my constant move, whenever in doubt, if you're stuck between two situations, you don't know what to do, don't flip a coin, buy a vowel. There's my drop of knowledge for everyone out there.
I usually just stick with the Louis Anderson effect, which is just get really fat and do a lot of drugs.
Well, I can see that you're succeeding in that goal. LOL, not really. What the hell's in that green cup that you're drinking, by the way?
I told you, it is Hawaiian Punch.
And what else?
Hawaiian Punch.
Okay. Well,
It's a sober podcast for me.
Okay. Good job, buddy.
One day strong.
Okay. Well, the only reason why I even said that, and I believed you, was because you took a drink of that, and then you like made a like that whiskey face.
Well, it kind of tastes like a whiskey sour.
Okay.
So,
well, since we're on a personal level, now that we did tech talk, let's go personal. Fucking, how are you doing, my brother? Tell me all about it. I want to know what's going on in that world of yours.
okay. Later this week, I should have an article published. And it's going to be a bit of a doozy. I'm sure everyone's seen the Berkeley riots, all that stuff. So I'm going to be publishing an article on the saviors of humanity, the Antifa, anti-fascist league. They're really cool people holding it.
Where's Ella? Why are you letting me out?
All of this, none of it's happening.
Antifa. Bitch is getting punched in the face. I'm sorry, continue.
Okay, so I'm writing a lovely article on them, drawing some comparisons with them and a pretty cool historical figure who, in their eyes, probably did some great things. He was a noted environmentalist. He was a war veteran who changed his ways.
Can I guess?
You know, he really did a lot for the infrastructure of his country. He socialized a lot of things and made life for his people that much better while he had a chance. So I'm going to compare them to their hero, and hopefully they get the message that they're on the right track and they're doing the right thing. I just wish they'd change their outfits from the black and red, which is the anarcho-communist, which to me is a crazy ideology because you can't really have communism without a government. But
that doesn't make sense at all.
It doesn't make sense for their movement because I really feel like they should be wearing brown shirts.
Brown pride.
Yeah, brown pride. That's what they call them. They wear these cool tan shirts and they do these little zigzag lightning strike things because they strike like lightning. And then they could use an old peace symbol from pretty much every culture in the Middle East prior to their glorious forefather of ideologies. You know, it's like this weird,
It's one of those.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
So anyone that knows Godwin's law knows that I'm trying very hard to avoid breaking it right now. But That's so I should have an article out later this week, hopefully.
And where can we find that article?
Logicalanarchy.com.
Logicalanarchy.com.
Yep.
That's where they will tell you that we don't really need all that much government, and they will do it in a common sense type of format.
Well, mostly economics based. Econ's a cool thing.
Econ, yeah. So
we advise our readers to look into what we're saying, read some books, educate themselves. Not necessarily take us on our word on everything. We definitely do a lot of opinion pieces, and when we do opinion pieces, we like to make it pretty clear that they're just opinions.
What do you guys think about the demand for the $15 minimum wage across the board?
It's absolutely ridiculously stupid from a business standpoint.
A lot of people would argue that it's not, because people that work a job need to be paid a living wage, which would be $15 an hour.
A lot of people with common sense would say that a better approach to that, at the very least, would be to abolish federal income tax. That way people keep more of the money that they're earning.
Ooh. Yep.
That would be a better way to go about it. But if you just look at the numbers for every time they raise minimum wage in an area, the cost of living goes up. Actually, you raise minimum wage $1, the cost of living per dollar earned goes up. So, yeah, you're making more money, but things cost even more money to buy. They don't think about, okay, let's take a grocery store. That's an industry I'm pretty intimate with. You raise minimum wage, and then everyone has to get a raise. You've just devalued currency that much. Now everyone needs a raise. So your truck drivers got to make a little bit more money. Everyone in the entire job market has to make more money, regardless of whether they were at minimum. Otherwise, those people are taking a pay cut, and they're not going to be happy. It's a no-win situation there. So, okay, let's say everyone gets a $5 minimum wage here in California is $10 an hour presently. So,
yeah.
Let's say that everyone gets a $5 raise. Well, okay, let's take something like lettuce. How much does a head of lettuce cost? Usually about what, $1? 99 cents. Well, the truck driver, so the people on the farm picking that lettuce are now going to be making $15 an hour. So now either they have to ramp up to keep lettuce at 99 cents a head.
Let's earmark that point, because that's one point, but go ahead.
Well, I'm saying,
because
in their perfect world where everyone makes a $15 minimum, okay, this is all hypothetical. A head of lettuce presently costs grocery stores about 50 cents a head to buy to 75 cents a head to buy. They make about 15 cents to 50 cents on a head of lettuce.
Okay.
For their labor. So they pass on 50 cents to the consumer, so they double the price, but it's not a bad price increase considering the amount of labor that goes into preparing that product. Now let's go ahead and put a head of lettuce into their liberal ideology of everyone deserves a living wage. Okay. The person picking your lettuce is now making a living wage. They're now making 15. They're probably presently making, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're making 10. Now they're making 15. They've either got to ramp up their production, cost of cost, or pass the cost on to the grocers. That's you're talking about taking a 50% raise for these people. So the cost of a head of lettuce will now go up to 75 cents for a grocer. Wait. No, it won't. Because now the trucking companies have to pay $5 more for their drivers. Okay, let's assume that's another 50, and this is being very, very, very here. These aren't realistic numbers. This is giving them the benefit of the doubt. So now a head of lettuce costs a grocery store $1. Employees are making $5 more an hour. Well, that's a huge direct cost to them, because most grocery store employees do not make a quote unquote living wage, at least newer ones. So all of their baggers make $5 more an hour. All of their cashiers make $5 more an hour. All of their stockers make $5 more an hour. So it's fair to say that head of lettuce is going to go up at least twice the cost. Well, it's already at what, $1.25. So now it's $2.50 for a head of lettuce. When you consider that and apply that to every item in a grocery store, the cost of factory labor for canned goods, the cost of trucking for any of it, when you consider all the cost increases on labor alone, which if you look at any business, any good business, a majority of their cost is labor. At least a very, very big slice of their cost is labor. You talk about increasing their labor costs, a good 15%. You're going to see that passed on to the customers. They don't really have a high profit margin to begin with. So when you apply that to every business, though, every single thing you do in life is going to cost more. Your gasoline is going to cost more because they have to pay the people that work at the refinery. They have to pay the truckers who deliver it to the gas stations. They have to pay the gas station employees. And then, of course, the gas taxes are a percentage of cost. So as the cost of gas goes up, so does the percentage you pay in tax, or the amount you pay in tax based on the percentage.
Right. And it may not happen within the first week of a minimum wage change. Say it
but
goes
the first year,
but within the first year, the people that in that economy, in that subculture, are going to feel the effects of that minimum wage increase.
Rent will go up. A lot of people here in California are renters. And the reason I'm focusing on California right now is because a lot of the people that are pro 15 minimum are Californians.
It's a good example. It's a lot of the heavy left, and I think Seattle's already done it, and it's not going.
It's not panning out well.
It's not going out. It's not going good for them.
Look at Seattle's, or look at I think San Francisco just did it too, and they're imposing it. They're not directly instating it because they know they'll cripple their economy if they do. But if you look at places that have raised their minimum wage higher and higher and higher, and you compare that to unemployment and the number of businesses that go into bankruptcy, you see a correlation to it. You see a spike.
And a couple other points here. Say a small business that has 6 to 10 employees, that they're, barely getting by. Let's say it's a
comic book store. No, a comic book store.
Let's say it's a comic book store. The owner deals with getting comic books in there, and the people that work the shop work on selling the comics, right? So you could imagine that the market for a comic book store is not going to be extremely profitable. You're not going to get a huge return on it. Although comic books might be your passion, if you have a $15 minimum wage go up, and you can have like 4 rooms lined with comics, you could have an abundance of stuff to sell. But the problem is that you're not going to be able to charge $15. A comic book store may not be the best example. I would say like a...
No, it really is. The reason I said a comic book store is because the example to draw from, because in places where they've raised it, the first places to go out of business were the comic book stores, where people are working their passion. They'll take minimum wage to work their passion because they enjoy it. They enjoy work. They love going to work every day.
Okay, yeah, and I think that would fall into what I was going to say, which would be like the smaller mom and pop stores that can't compete with the Walmart. If you're a food store, you can't compete with the McDonald's or even like a Del Taco or something. So you can't compete with these markets, and then all of a sudden the minimum wage, like you're just doing something to before the minimum wage hike, everything was going fine. Then you have a couple employees, maybe say 6 to 10, and they're younger. You got this cycle of high school people that come in and out. Like the dry cleaners that I worked at is a perfect example. I worked at a dry cleaners that hired only young people, not only young people, but that was like the people that took in your orders. I mean, it was all young. I don't know if it was done on purpose. You can't call it ageist or whatever. You know, you got to fucking backtrack every single statement that you say today in today's world. But anyways, so we got paid minimum wage for a high school job. And if that guy had to charge us $15 an hour, he might not be able to hold his own business. So what this is going to do as the result of is going to corporatize smaller companies and smaller businesses that operate on a smaller scale. And hold on, let me finish. And then the other thing that's going to happen is that everything's going to turn into, and the big people with the money and the corporations that are going to create technology that's going to have kiosks and robots to replace the humans, which is already coming. But the quicker that they impose this higher minimum wage, the quicker the robots and the kiosks are coming.
Well, yeah, it's innovate or die for small businesses. Here's another option, your dry cleaner situation. What he might do is fire to 3/4 of his labor and force the few that he keeps to learn how to operate the equipment. That way, they're taking orders and dry cleaning the clothes. You know, add skill to the labor to justify the cost of labor. If all you do, okay, let's say you're a cashier. I've been a cashier. I'm allowed to say this. It's kind of like, I'm white, so I get to say honky. That's our word.
Black, so I get to say nit.
So I've been a cashier, and I can say it's not a particularly skilled job. You take people's money, you put it in the drawer. Now, a trend I saw as a cashier was they were starting to make cashiers earn their money. I made a little bit more money because I cross-trained. I went from being a cashier to an all-purpose clerk. I could operate any department in the store. So I could operate 7 different departments on my own as well as be a cashier. And I saw an increase on my paychecks. But I also saw that the people who could just cashier started getting phased out and phased out. Their hours started getting cut because they were not as much of an asset to the company as I was. And that's what small businesses are going to have to do. It's either that or start getting robots to do it. And I just got into a debate about robots. Wait, isn't the guy that owns Carl's Jr. the same guy on Trump's board who said that he wanted to put robots in the stores to do, like, yeah, and who cares? It passes the savings on to the consumer, cutting out labor costs, and it gives more jobs to skilled people who can operate on the kiosks. People think that automation kills jobs. No, it creates new jobs. Better paying jobs.
So
minimum wage increases, all they stand to do is raise the barrier to entry into the workforce even higher. So imagine the workforce as a ladder. All raising minimum wage does is pull a rung. It's still just as inaccessible up here. You just have less of a way to pull yourself up. And
well,
that's impressive. I didn't even give you $5 this time. You just do it for free these days.
Yeah.
Thanks, Monica.
It's all about the passion of the work that you do.
Well, yeah.
I'm passionate.
As I was saying, all minimum wage increases do is take a rung from the ladder and make it that much harder to reach higher. That's all they do, because they take away entry-level jobs. When you have to pay your employees 50% more, you're just making it to where you don't want entry-level employees. You start to look for more credentials, more experience.
And then ultimately, I think that those kind of mindless jobs where you take an order or you just grab something from the back and give it to somebody, eventually that's going to be taken over by technology.
Yeah,
We
because
can already see it moving that direction. And
take automotive stores. What do they do at AutoZone? They go behind the counter and get you what you want. Now, if they offer full service, mind you, there's legislation in place to prevent them from helping you. So they can't go out, look at your car, and tell you what's wrong, even if they could. They could go out. So they're removing the skill from jobs like that, where they could go, oh, yeah, I know what you need. You need this part.
Right.
Do
But
that
the
anymore
skill in
legally.
itself, you have to have the knowledge.
But they can't legally do that anymore. So now all they can do is you say, this
What
is
do you
the
mean
part
they
I
can't
need.
legally do that? Do what anymore?
They can't diagnose your car anymore.
What?
They're not even allowed to. They can't even do, in California at least, they're not even allowed to do the electronic. They're not even allowed to read your ECU to figure out what your check engine light's for anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So they're removing the utility of those employees, and they're wondering why places want to automate. If you can just have one employee picking stock and putting orders together, have people do their purchases on kiosks, then you don't need 3 or 4 employees. You just need 1 or 2.
For big companies, one person's not going to be able to do all that. But what I fear in the future, and what could possibly come, is that those kind of you turn around, you hand a part to somebody, those kind of jobs, which are a lot in America, and especially, let's take, for instance, a factory job, which in World War II built America into a super world power by the amount of factory work that we were able to pound out. Now, if you replace that with robots, and which has already been replaced with outsourcing American jobs, and this is not political, this is straight up fact. So now what you're doing is that you're removing jobs from, and the robots are going to remove more jobs, and now you're going to be left with a displaced kind of work society, which boils down to this new idea that's been passed around, which is a sort of basic income for people.
Yeah, they just want to receive money for doing nothing. Basically, a utopian society in which everything in your living is subsidized for existing.
If there's so many robots that have taken over all the jobs that the humans were once doing, then how the hell are we supposed to earn an income? And granted,
who will repair those robots?
A few technicians. That's not going to equal the amount of jobs that have been taken by the robots.
That is unfair, Travis.
How's that unfair?
Because those people have to work, and then everyone else gets paid. Unless they're getting more, but then it's unfair because they're getting more money.
Right. Well, so one robot will replace, let's say, 10 workers, and then you're going to have one human to work on 10 robots, because robots don't fail all the time.
Yeah.
So
who's going to code the robots?
One human that is working on 10 robots.
Who's going to code them and update them? Who's going to code them and update them?
Google.
Google is still people.
Jujul.
And unless you're talking about robots writing code, but that's singularity.
Well,
humans go extinct.
That's not too far off either, depending on who you ask.
That's extinction. The singularity is an extinction event.
But
we're all making money.
So hold that thought.
The Matrix.
Oh, all right. Well, let's talk about that. So minimum wage, $15. Good or bad?
Bad. I think minimum wage in general is bad.
And what is a entry-level position supposed to be in America? It's not supposed to be able to feed you and your 2 kids, but it looks like that's what's happening.
Yeah, that is what's happening because people don't want skills anymore. They don't want skills. They don't want to have to learn to do something. They just want to be able to skate. Hey, I'm guilty of it. If I don't have to work hard or think hard, I'm not going to do it. I'm a man who's very in touch with his nothing box up in here, and I love to be in my nothing box.
Ooh.
If I don't have to think about something, I don't want to think about something these days. So, yeah, they just want to think about nothing all day.
Well, you know what?
They want to go out on the weekends with their BFF Jill, and that's their prerogative. But I don't want them asking for more money to do the same job.
Right.
So if I had to say anything about minimum wage, though, I think that all wages should just be negotiable. Negotiate your wage. What do you have to offer?
Okay, and here's another question. So, if you want $15 while working at McDonald's, because that will earn you a living wage, is that your end goal? Is to work at McDonald's for your end wage? You have no other aspirations?
To be honest, dude, Big Macs are actually pretty tasty.
Yeah, but $15 an hour, 15 years of Big Macs, you're going to get tired of a fucking three buns and 2 patties and a sesame seed bullshit. I mean, come on.
Well, no,
that's not the end goal. That's not everyone's aspiration is to work at fucking McDonald's.
Yeah, because you still get your EBT.
Even if you work at McDonald's?
Yeah. You've got a living wage, but the government still has to give you EBT.
Not $15 an hour.
Yeah, $15 an hour, because, cost of living went up from the $15 an hour. I still need my EBT.
And where's the money coming from? This endless pot of nothing, this endless pot of debt.
They can just print more.
They can just print more. From?
Print more.
Yeah, okay. I feel better about that. Thank you for saying print more. It just makes me feel, wow, yeah, we can't just print more. We'll borrow against every other person's currency in the whole entire world. We'll just borrow against that.
Just print more money.
And then when they ask for their money, we'll just fucking blow them out of the water.
Yeah.
Right?
With all the money we borrowed.
Yeah. With all the money that we borrowed to build weapons.
Well, we're not borrowing money, though. We're just printing it.
But we're
no. The Federal Reserve just prints money, and then it's there.
Well, first of all, how dare you? And second of all, yes, we do borrow against China's.
No, we don't. The Federal Reserve has the word federal in its name. It must be government, and therefore they can print as much money as they want.
We make these bonds with China, and we have to pay them back at some point. And then Donald Trump saying, "No, fuck you, China."
You're a right-wing nut job.
Okay. Maybe for the next 5 minutes.
Are you implying that scarcity is a thing that exists? Is that what you're saying, is that scarcity exists?
No. Not for any American. Not for any fucking red-blooded American, at least.
Are you saying that scarcity is an economic trend that actually exists and that it actually...
I'm saying, go ahead. Borrow.
Print more money. Print more money. That's all you have to do.
I know, but we don't have that option. I'm saying
I want the legal right to print my own money. Why can't I print my own money? If they can do it, why can't I?
You can try.
That's not fair.
You can try.
I need to go get my black and red bandana and start throwing wine bottles with M80s at it at protesters. I think it's more fun to just argue from their standpoints.
Right.
Because there's this level of cognitive dissonance in which I can't get through. Frustrated because new ideas are being presented to them. So if I just argue their ideas the same way they argue them and very poorly at that,
and I will be the antithesis.
Then I think it makes a little bit more sense to them how stupid the idea that you can just keep printing money is.
Right, which it doesn't make sense at all. And
scarcity is one of the biggest dictators of why communism can never work.
Well, at least not in a civilization where there's 300 million people. I mean, come the fuck on.
But
If it
communism
was
on
like,
a personal level can work. Like if you and I start a commune with our respective families, and
yeah, and there's
you
like
say
50 people.
I'll do all the electrical work for the village. Okay, I'll do all the
I've got kids
agricultural
on
work
that.
for the village.
Don't you fuck me on that.
I'll do the carpentry.
Okay.
Everyone brings their skills to the table, but that's not how communism works in practice in a government stance, and that's not really communism so much as collectivism on a local level, or even a tribe level. It doesn't work when you involve governments because there will always be lazy people who just want to skate by and work at McDonald's for $15 an hour.
OG Tim is our dictator. I'm the electrician. You're the carpenter, and we have 50 people under us. And me and you build everything. So OG Tim gets like what, 70%? Me and you get like 5%, and we distribute the rest of the 10% to everyone else. Is that probably how it would work?
In a government stance, yeah.
And OG Tim would be running away.
OG Tim still has to have his Bentley.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to. I think the best way we could go about it is by recognizing that life isn't fair. Get what we want.
Hold on. Let me retract that statement, and let's say that life is beautiful, and try and find life is beautiful while also being grotesque, and it's a challenge to find the beautiful parts and to hold on to them, and it's much easier to hold on to the grotesque parts of it.
Well, in that case, I would then argue that the more you rely on the labor of others, putting yourself, the more grotesque that world gets, because eventually the people doing all the work get pissed off and stop working themselves, and then society comes to a grind. There.
For now, let's revisit an old segment called "What the Hell's Going On in North Korea?"
Oh, that's a good segment.
Yeah, it's an oldie but a goodie. Yeah, we've been doing this shit for a year. What the hell is going on in North Korea? So now they are. Let me do a quick rundown. Kim Jong-un is saying that he has nuclear warheads, that he's trying to do some tests, but he's had a couple dummy dildos fly off into the water that didn't really have some success. I think he's just bluffing. That's been the whole. I've been saying this shit for a year. I do this segment tongue in cheek because what the hell's going on in North Korea is not 50% of what they claim is going on. So,
as for the rocket, I guess you could say he couldn't get it up.
Oh, maybe it's too much Hennessy. That guy is the biggest single importer of Hennessy in the world. I will have you know.
He's got to have that Henny.
Yeah. I guess it is kind of a scary thought because, the tests that he's been running. And the scary part is that he could buy something from someone. And if he bought it from, say, ISIS or Afghanistan, possibly even Russia, if he had that capability, he'd bomb Seoul within fucking 20 minutes.
Well, we've got a lot of anti-missile systems in Seoul, so
right. But we got Mike Pence on the border down there in the DMZ, which stands for Demilitarized Zone. What the fuck is he doing down there?
Electrocuting the gays.
Okay, that's fair.
That's probably what it is. I mean, that's what he does. Haven't you seen the picture of his eyeballs with the tendrils of lightning?
Yeah, they said, well, I guess what the hell's going on in North Korea right now is that they are still trying to test stuff, and they're pissing a really trigger-happy Trump off right now. Which,
yeah, well, let's play a little role play of what the hell's going on in North Korea.
Okay,
I'll be Kim Jong-un. You'd be Merca.
No, I want to be Kim Jong.
Ah!
Just kidding.
Well, no, come on. It's more fun to let the small, short, fat guy be Kim.
Kimmy, Kim Jong. I'm gonna bum the shit out of. Yeah, P Young. Just consider it a target. Hey, okay. I have the best. Okay, terrific.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. It's my grandpa's birthday. I'm going to launch a missile.
Terrific. Tremendous.
Yep, that's
unbelievable.
That's
this guy. Kim Jong
Un.
Bad guy. We need to take him out. I will bomb the shit out of ice.
Ivanka.
Oh, Melania. Ivanka. Suck it.
We're definitely going to the gulag for that one. Shit.
Germany. Now he's had a different cadence since he's president when he gives his speeches. It's more like and I will unbelievable. I don't know.
I really love what Hillary said there to do. Really love it.
I'm surprised Hillary hasn't committed suicide. I'm just saying. I'm
really supportive of what I see. I do the Zap Brannigan voice. Have you ever seen Trump's tweets read in Zap Brannigan's voice? The voice actor who did Zap Brannigan did read Trump tweets.
I'm unfamiliar.
Do you know who Zap Brannigan is?
No, I don't.
He's the space pilot from Futurama. Every mission is a suicide mission.
No, I'm not familiar.
We will make this great ship great again.
We will make America great again. Sorry. All right. Anyways, we will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. We will make America great again. All right. Anyways. So, episode 52.
So, how are we going to wrap this one up, bud?
Let's wrap this one up with a Would You Rather.
Okay. Would you rather take over the body for the rest of your life of Donald Trump or Kim Jong-un? Out the power.
Oh, I'd have to say Donald Trump because, I mean, do I get to keep my own brain?
No.
Oh, well, then Kim Jong-un for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to give that one I'm going to go with Donald Trump because according to his ex-wife, he's well endowed.
What? I mean, you could have a small penis and get laid all the time. My 20s. I mean, hold on. I didn't say that. We got to delete that part.
Would you rather would you rather have your dick cut off or your fingers flayed like someone who has a Bible in the Middle East? Like through a paper shredder. Have your dick cut off or your fingers run through a paper shredder?
I mean, 90% is going to be not dick cut off.
Yeah, that one kind of sucks because either you can never touch your dick again, really, or you just don't have one.
I mean, I would take dick over legs, I think.
Yeah, I think I would too.
I mean, at the end of the night, you can still jerk off or.
But then again, though, if I had to choose between arms or legs, I'd still choose to have my legs.
Oh, there was a different one.
Or sorry, no, I'd choose to have my arms still, not my legs, because leg prosthetics are a lot better than arm prosthetics.
Would you rather have no elbows or no knees?
No knees.
So that
no knees.
You'd never
for
be
sure.
able to drive.
Yeah, I would just have my leg cut off where my knees would be and get prosthetics.
God damn it! You're not supposed to do that. You can do the same thing for your arms, though.
No, you can't, because as I just said, arm prosthetics are nowhere near as versatile as leg prosthetics.
Okay. Prosthetics out of the equation. Knees or elbows?
Why not both?
Gosh dang it. No. One or the other, man. You can't drive or you can't jerk off. One of the two.
Yeah. Still go with my legs, to be honest.
Yeah, just have people drive you around.
Yeah. So.
You could actually put that, if you got hired at a company, that I need an Uber ride to and from work every day.
I think that'll be a good end for this episode, though.
Okay, man. Kurt Haskell's coming on next week. Kenny is in the near future. He almost came on tonight, but he had something else going on. Kenny wants to come back. We got Kurt Haskell. We're working on a couple interview guests. I have this one lady.
Okay.
I have this one world traveler that I want to interview. Alex, you want to be on that
me?
one? Not you. She's actually pretty.
Who, me?
JK. Yeah. Only when you send me Photoshop pictures with you with red lipstick and eyeshadow on. But let's not talk about that.
Maybe we should. Either way.
Anyways, please go to...
I was just going to finish up here by saying the next episode should be a doozy, and you should all cash in on it, you know?
Yeah, we might bring you some new information. Some really tasty new information. I think we brought some good stuff up with the minimum wage that a lot of people don't realize. Maybe we don't give ourselves enough credit for. I think we did. We handled that one pretty well. Be honest.
Well, minimum wage is a tough one. Because
it is. And there's a
it's
lot
one of those things where, like, I'd love to say, you know, it's all fine and dandy and we should do it, people. But I'm pragmatic to know that it wouldn't really help people.
And it sounds good to be like, oh, this person is at a job and they're making this much when they have 2 kids, when they should be making, you know, they could be making this much, and life would be a lot easier for them. And I guess a lot of politics boils down to you're not going to save everyone, and let's do what's best for the greater good of the majority of the population. Can I get an amen?
Yeah. Huzzah. Ramen. Ramen.
All right.
Well,
We'll hit you next week. We'll hit you with some good stuff next week. Possibly some false flag conspiracy stuff. Stay tuned.
whether you like